Hello, my name is Jason Sokol. I'm from Manalapan, New Jersey. I'm a senior at Sacred Heart University. I'm studying finance, and my plan with finance is to go into one of the big four accounting firms, which was luckily opened up doing my internship at a private company that my mother works at. And I could work my way up as a consultant there in the financial planning and analysis section, and I get to travel around the world and just learn as much as I can while I'm young, and it's a great launching pad for a long term goal. And I'm also in the process of starting my own little business. I'm going to try to start a small business as a captain on a fishing charter operation. It would be my own. I'm getting all the paperwork done for the summer, and hopefully that can start. It'd be a good thing to say. I could start my own business in an economy like today. Coming from like studying finance and working in business classes, I've always tend to focus on those more than classes like the English courses or like basic math courses or a science course that you have to take. And it took me by surprise how interested I would be in this class. It's, starting from the personal narrative, I knew it was going to be a bit different because I haven't really had an English professor that's really wanted that. And it was just something interesting. It was awesome to see that the professor wanted to hear, how a book can relate to us. In essence, like she wanted to know us more, which was great, I thought. And it taught me how to literally not judge a book by its cover. If you analyze words and stories closely, you can almost hear like a tone in your head and the voice tone change. And I think it's just now that I have that, it could be used in pretty much everyday situations. It's kind of weird. I never took that like I took that seriously till now, but um, you know, there were several pieces in this class that I actually really enjoyed, but hands down, one of my favorite would be Doubt, and it was just a very interesting story. It from immediately it just grabs you off your seat. It starts right with the issue at hand with Father Flynn and the little Donald and the two sisters, and it just the whole story. At one moment you can feel he's guilty, at the next moment you don't know because of what's going on. It's just one of those. It's almost like one of the crime shows that I'm like very fond of, like CSI, Criminal Minds, and CIS. Keeps you on suspense till the end, and I just think that's necessary, especially for a story today. A lot of people have shorter attention spans, and it just something that can grab you like that still, without it being a movie. Even the play, what I was reading, still called me before I watched some of the more clips, and for a book to do that is it's easy for some people, but like for me it was a bit harder to get into books. I was never really a big book reader. I would always watch the movie first, or something of that essence. I always had something else to do if I was working or something. But yeah, that would be one of my favorite because it's just something that you can cling to. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. And if I was teaching this course, I would probably eliminate crossing Brooklyn Ferry. It's just compared to all the pieces we read in that module, it didn't really fit in. Not just because of the length, but because of the way it was formatted. It didn't. I know it's a free verse poem, but it didn't really feel like a poem at all. It kind of just felt like a really just short story about people on a ferry, or this guy observing people on a ferry. And it was I didn't see how like maybe I couldn't analyze it properly. I didn't pick it for the comparison and the analysis because I just couldn't get a grip on what was going on because maybe the structure, or, maybe I should have given it a few more reads after like the second or third time. But it was just something that I couldn't really get into as much as the other ones. Like I like, the Shakespearean sonnet, and I like the Emily Dickinson piece. It was just something about it that I couldn't really get myself into. And we read a lot of other great stories. One of my if I had a second favorite, it would be The Birthmark. And there's a lot of tones that you see in modern society today. As far as everybody has a flaw. Everybody today is trying to be perfect, and it's a thing that sadly a lot of people take too seriously. And I think that's what I know the birthmark's ahead of its time, but I feel like that's what Hawthorne was trying to say with the actual birthmark in the story. You have the main character who's this flawless, beautiful girl, and then she has the birthmark on her face, and then the speaker can't help but fixate on that. And I think there's just two main themes in this. It's that everyone has their flaw, no matter how perfect they are. They can, whether it be a physical flaw or, a flaw with family or just something with their personality. Everyone has that one flaw. Um, and not everyone is going to be perfect. No one is perfect at all. That's just a figment of imagination, and you see that in modern society today with especially the magazines targeting like women, and they have to be size like -3 or something. It's just stuff like that. And then the second theme that I felt that I saw was that people always tend to focus on the bad things, and that the speaker was fixated on the birthmark, even though it was this perfect girl. And it's just that's even in society today. You have all these shows like it's a reality show to get a nose job or something like that. It's like, oh yeah, you were botched before, but let's like take that, and it makes people who watch it just feel more self conscious. I feel like a lot of people don't come out with it, but it's definitely true, and it's just stuff like that like I felt like that story covered before it, way before its time, and it's amazing how relevant it was to modern society. For the poems and whatnot, I've preferred Shakespearean sonnets. Like I felt that was just traditional in my mind. That's what a poem should be. In all honesty, maybe I'm a bit biased because of that. It was you had the A B structure. It and the stories flowed easily, as opposed to Crossing Brooklyn Ferry, where it didn't. I felt like it was a bit more jagged as far as it was trying to flow, and it wasn't traditional in any sense. I know it's a complete different style, but for me, I felt it just because it didn't feel like a poem. I couldn't get its point across at all, and I didn't really not know what it was trying to say. Excuse me. So I would definitely use like a Shakespearean sonnet as a good example for a poem. Um, as far as for number six, three poems: Kubla Khan, "The World Is Too Much," and "Nature, the Gentlest Mother." They all used Mother Nature to create vivid imagery, which I thought that was really cool. That was one of the main connectors there. Um, like for example, in Kubla Khan, he was talking about the sunless sea or the sacred river, and you get those images in your head. Or in "The World Is Too Much," it talks as if Mother Nature was a person. It gives it a personality. And a quote that jumped out for me was, "The sea that bears her bosom to the moon." Obviously, the sea doesn't have a bosom. He's referring to it as an actual Mother Nature. And for nature's gentlest mother, it used nature to talk about a mother's love and how a mother's love was natural. And there's also something very romantic about each three of those poems. You know, um, with the talking about the ocean, everyone has you think of like a beach wedding or something. It's just something romantic about that, or a mother's love. It's just very natural, and it's everyone really just loves their mother. So there's that. So for this for this class, like it's taught me a lot, to be honest, and I'm probably am gonna pick up more books. I have a lot of free time because at work I could face like 12-hour boat rides or uh, even longer, and I'm out there for a few days at a time, and there's a lot of free time. I think with this class, I'm gonna pick up more books that I think that are interesting. I'll look up reviews online and like something that pertains to me, or even something that doesn't. Maybe something that just seems way out of the reach that of like something I would like, and just use that. But it definitely made me want to get into reading a bit more. It keeps your mind active instead of just sitting there mindlessly watching the news about something about Trump or Russians or hacking or whatever. I rather just now pick up something, get me out of that for a little bit, because I think we're all kind of sick of hearing about politics. C1, it's over. And yeah, it was an excellent course. I thank you, Professor, for your time too. Your comments on everything was great. I wish everyone the best of luck for the semester, and have a good one.